right now I'm going to explain to you the diagram of the first sentence. The first sentence is a complex sentence. It has an independent clause and a dependent clause. So first of all, we are going to analyze the independent clause. And we need to look for the simple subject. The simple subject is satellite. We are going to write it here at the beginning on a horizontal line. Then the article that is modifying satellite. So it's going to be written below the simple subject on a slanting line. Remember that when we are analyzing sentences, we write capital letters, yet we don't write punctuation marks. So to separate the subject from the predicate, we need to write a straight line and continue writing the horizontal line to write the predicate. Here the predicate is will be launched. And we are going to write it here next the straight line. Well, having analyzed the independent clause, we are going to analyze the dependent clause. And the dependent clause has a subordinating conjunction, that is if. If is going to be written below the verb of the independent clause on a slanting broken line, as you can see here. We write if. Then if is going to join the verb of the independent clause and the verb of the dependent clause, that is. Here we have is on a horizontal line. Well, to separate the subject from the predicate, we write a straight line. And the simple predicate of the dependent clause is whether. So we write it at the beginning here on a horizontal line. The is modifying whether, so it's going to be written below it on a slanting line. Well, here we have a linking verb, so we are going to have a subject complement predicate adjective, that is good. And good is going to be written next the verb, and it's going to be divided by a slanting line. So the subject complement predicate adjective is going to be written on a horizontal line. And that's it. The second sentence is a compound complex sentence. It has two independent clauses and one dependent clause. The first independent clause is the purple skirt had been sold. And the second one is so I bought the blue one. The dependent clause is when I returned to the store. First of all, we are going to analyze the first independent clause, this one. We need to look for the simple subject, and in this case is skirt. So we are going to write it here at the beginning on a horizontal line. The article the and the adjective purple are modifying the simple subject. So they are going to be written below the simple subject on slanted lines. To separate the subject from the predicate, we are going to write a straight line. And then we continue writing the horizontal line to write the predicate. Here the simple predicate is had been sold. So this is going to be written here next the simple subject. Well, we have analyzed the first independent clause. So we are going to analyze the dependent clause. As you can see, here we have a subordinating conjunction, and it is going to be written here on a slanting broken line. So when or the subordinating conjunction is going to join the verb of the independent clause and the verb of the dependent clause. That is here. We are going to write it on a horizontal line. Then we are going to separate the predicate from the subject, and we are going to write the straight line. Then we look for the subject or the simple subject, and it is I. So I is going to be written here on a horizontal line. So we notice that we have a prepositional phrase that is to the store. So to the preposition to is going to be written below the verb on a slanting line. And the store is going to be written here on a horizontal line. The is modifying store, so it is going to be written here below the store, the word, on a slanting line. Well, we have analyzed the first independent clause and the dependent clause. So we are going to analyze the second independent clause, that is, so I bought the blue one. Here we have a coordinating conjunction, that is so, and so is going to be written on a horizontal line, and here we are going to write a straight broken line, and here the same, a straight broken line. So is going to join the verb of the first independent clause and the verb of the another independent clause, that is but, and we are going to write it here on a horizontal line. Then to separate the subject from the verb, we are going to write a straight line here. We are going to look for the subject, and the subject is I, so we are going to write it here on a horizontal line. Well, here we have a direct object, that is the blue one. So we are going to write a semi-straight line that is going to separate the predicate and the direct object. So here the main word is one. So this one is going to be written on a horizontal line. Here, one. And the article the and the adjective blue are modifying one. So they are going to be written below one on slanting lines.